Hi, everyone. Welcome to the ICPC Winter GM. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll have an extended Q&A session at the end of this meeting. I don't expect it to take very long. I just want to go over, since this quarter we're putting out pretty much more offerings than we ever have, I just wanted to go over what all of the things were that we're doing. Maybe a quick introduction to ICPC if you aren't familiar with competitive programming or our club. And any questions you have, please ask, and hopefully other people will benefit from us answering them as well. Okay, so follow us on Instagram at icpc.ucla. We don't have a lot of content up from last quarter. I promise we'll have more content this quarter. If you're old and are still on Facebook, this used to be our main method of communication. We have a Facebook group called ucla.icpc, but recently it seems like the new generation doesn't use Facebook anymore, so that may be less active. We have a link tree which we keep somewhat updated with our important links. So for example, tonight's Zoom link was on the link tree, so most of you probably have already seen it, but this is a good link to know. And of course, we have our website, icpc.ucla.acm, which gives an overview of what we do, but isn't at the moment the place to see an up-to-date list of all of our events. That will hopefully change in the near future, though. Anyway, so if you have not heard of competitive programming before, I'll start at the beginning. So competitive programming is mainly about algorithms. And an algorithm is a procedure to accomplish a task in a finite number of well-defined steps. So a computer, imagine you're baking bread, okay, and you're baking with your cousin who is extraordinarily fast at doing things, but isn't very practical, doesn't have much common sense, and you cannot simply ask them to go mix dough and knead it. You need to tell them, go to this location in the pantry and remove exactly this quantity of flour, and so on. So similarly, an algorithm is a procedure for accomplishing a task, which you may be able to describe easily in English, like take in a list of numbers and output that list of numbers sorted from smallest to largest, but which you need to then figure out how to get this very extremely fast, extremely dumb computer to do quickly. And an important thing with algorithms is not all correct algorithms actually work. So, and this is because they may just take too much time, and they may take more time than the universe has existed in any cosmology believed in by any science or religion. For example, an algorithm to sort a list by trying all possible orderings is clearly correct. You will reach the ordering which is sorted. But for 50 items, it would take 4.5 times 10 to the I don't know what years. A good algorithm should be able to do it in 100 nanoseconds. So that is the crux of the algorithm problem, is you can say, oh, I know how to describe the task to accomplish, and maybe I can program a computer to do it slowly, but if it's too slow, you will never get anywhere. So how can we do it fast? And competitive programming adds another dimension to that, which is there's a time limit in which you need to write your algorithms. So, okay, back up a little bit. Competitive programming is a sport of coding solutions to these kinds of computational problems that must run within a time limit. Often you'll get 1 second for your program to run. And there'll be well-specified bounds on the size of the input, that kind of thing. And you also have a time limit in which to write it, and you may be competing with other people to write your algorithm faster. So there's also a measure of, well, sometimes programmer time is more valuable than CPU time when we're getting down into the milliseconds. And what algorithms are easier to implement versus take more time and more debugging. So that's how I would introduce competitive programming. You're not going to really appreciate it without seeing an example problem for which I defer to our many workshops, which do directly work on solving these problems. But I hope that gave some overview. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. The ICPC contest is the largest competitive programming competition for colleges. At least there's the IOI for high schools, but for colleges, ICPC is the biggest. It's international collegiate programming competition or contest. I can never remember. And the chain in this multi-tiered competition that UCLA is in starts with the SoCal Regional, which our club organizes a team for, followed by the North. Well, this is somewhat in flux, but there's at least one tier in between us and World Finals. Definitely the North America Championship. Divisionals was an innovation from last year, which I don't know if they're still going to run it this year. And as you can see, UCLA has been to World Finals, was qualified for World Finals in 1989, 2015, 2017, and 2021. So the story I would tell from that is a long time ago we were good, and there's a long time of not being that good, and now we're good again. So yeah, we actually won ICPC in 1989, and Smallbird was either on that team or the coach. I forget which one, but Smallbird was involved. So anyway, that is where our club started, as organizing the team for this programming competition. But we have, just as the main ACM organization has evolved a ton into essentially a shadow department, so have we. So now we have a ton of community-facing offerings. We have more officers than team members. Most of our officers are not team members, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. And we are running 5 or maybe 6 distinct things this quarter. So we have beginner track, this quarter styled as beginner track plus plus. We have CS32 interview track, we have advanced track. These are all workshops that you can attend to learn more about algorithms and data structures. Beginner and advanced are specifically focused on competitive programming. Obviously, interview track is designed to help you get better at interviews. And then we have a one-off hosted with Cyber, the Cyber ICPC Puzzle Hunt, tentatively scheduled for February 3rd. If we're back in person by then, place your bets. This may be postponed. And ICPC Regionals is also currently scheduled for the 26th. And although the team has already been chosen by tryouts last quarter, our team training is super open. It happens on Sundays, and I'll say a little bit more about that too. And looking to the spring, we are still planning. We've been working hard on Code Sprint LA, which is our flagship event of the year. It's a huge programming. Well, okay, it's a large programming contest, which we run using all 100% original officer-written problems. We try to make the flavor text exciting and the problems not too annoying to code. So this year we are. What do I say about this? We are putting the most effort into organizing it that I have seen, and I think it's going to be really good. So keep your eyes peeled for Code Sprint LA sometime in May, probably. Estimathon is a smaller contest doing Fermi style questions, a little bit branching out away from computer science specifically and more into the general world of quantitative problem solving, which is the key skill in all the things that we do, as well as the tracks we'll all run in spring too, although they may look a lot different from the winter offerings. Excuse me. So if you attended beginner track last quarter, this quarter's beginner track plus plus is going to have things to appeal to you, even if you went to all the workshops last quarter. And if you went to none of the workshops last quarter, then beginner track plus plus should also have plenty for you to do. How do we accomplish this trick, I guess? Well, we are planning to hold more in-depth workshops on fewer topics compared to last quarter. So we're planning multiple workshops on graphs, multiple workshops on dynamic programming, and they'll be organized as first workshop is akin to the workshop from last quarter. So if you didn't go last quarter, you can go to that one and get up to speed. And then there'll be a more advanced workshop, which should be challenging for you, even if you aced last quarter. And I think this is just such a great opportunity to go from 0 to like 1 in competitive programming. It's not a binary scale. It goes up to, it goes up a lot. Obviously, you're not going to become the world champion immediately. No one can do that, but this is a fantastic starting point. I highly recommend. And the first meeting is this Wednesday. The Zoom link will be posted. We will try to post this in as many places as you all see. Anyway, that is beginner track. So if you've never done competitive programming before and you're curious, this first meeting in particular will be for you. If you attended beginner track last quarter and you want to continue your studies, there will be plenty of future workshops which will help you do that. This Wednesday in particular, perhaps will be more focused on people who just are completely new and did not attend last quarter's track. Anyway, there's the interview track. This will be held on Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. If I forgot to mention, the beginner track is also 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Interview tracks on Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. And this quarter, our gimmick is to align it with CS32. So the idea being that if you learn algorithms and data structures in CS32, but you don't get challenging practice problems like what interviewers at top companies would ask. So we provide that, as well as plenty of insights on the data structures that you may or may not have picked up from lecture. So on the algorithms and data structures, not all about data structures, but anyway, this is on Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Also a great crew working on that. Highly recommend, especially if you are still looking for an internship for next summer, which in which case I wish you good luck. Anyway, then there's advanced track. This is mainly for people who've already been doing competitive programming. Maybe you did competitive programming in high school. Maybe you thought beginner track was really easy. In that case, come to advanced track, and you probably will not think it is easy. But hopefully you'll learn a lot and have fun and deepen your knowledge and understanding of these competitive programming topics. I personally, as a workshop attendee, I think got the most out of advanced track, and I still go and learn things despite being a senior and the president of this club. So our officers have a lot to share and learn from each other through advanced track. And I hope if that sounds interesting to you, please come out and join us. It will be on Wednesdays, not starting this week. We will start next week. And again, okay, maybe this went without saying, but all of our workshops are on Zoom for the next 2 weeks or the next 3 weeks until at least UCLA resumes in-person instruction. So yeah, these will all be on Zoom. So like I said, we have already chosen our ICPC regionals team, but there's the training team of people who just enjoy getting together on Sunday for a while to solve problems in teams. The ICPC competition is a team format, 3 people per team. That's part of what makes it special compared to much more individual programming contests like every other programming contest, except CodeSprint LA, which also has a team component. But ICPC's training team has lots of fun people for you to come and meet and solve problems with. You don't have to have been chosen through the tryouts. If you are excited about maybe doing regionals next year, now is a great time to work on it with our top problem solvers. And we do balanced contests that mix challenging and easier problems. So hopefully everyone has something to do. I also personally attended last quarter and thought it was really well run. And I note some people in this in the Zoom who went as well. I hope you all had a good time, and maybe, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is super fun. It happens on Sundays. It's a little bit more casual in terms of organization. We're not publicly announcing, oh, hey, here's the time. Like everyone, or like, we're not marketing to everyone, but it is open to everyone. We just want to have more of a community around it. So if you're interested, please message Rishi Sankar on Facebook or message me in the Zoom chat today, and you can be added to the Facebook Messenger chat from which this is organized. And if you don't have Messenger, I'm not exactly, I think you can also kind of interface with Messenger through Instagram, but this is a problem we may have to deal with at some point. Anyway, yes, super fun. The pure joy of solving algorithms problems with your friends. Last but not least, we have the Cyber ICPC Puzzle Hunt. This is another non-programming event. We are planning it tentatively for week 5, but this could get pushed back because we really want to run it in person. The atmosphere is really nice. The vibes are high energy, and if you've never done a puzzle hunt before, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt, but with mind-bending puzzles that you don't even know what they're asking until you think about it for a while. So not, although it's represented by a jigsaw puzzle, I'd say jigsaw puzzle is like, it was like tier 0, then our puzzles would be like tiers like 3 through 6 of puzzle mind-bendingness. Yeah, also super excited about this. And if you hate coding, or even if you love coding but you do it too much, this will be a break from coding. Again, just come out with your friends. It was mildly competitive. We're not doing it to figure out who's the best at puzzle solving, but obviously, like, there's some fun from moving up the leaderboard too. So yeah, I think that actually that's our philosophy on competition, is that we think it adds to a lot of events by pushing people to do their best and adding a dimension of fun that wouldn't exist without any competition. But at the same time, we don't want, or at least we're not really trying to just like use competition to figure out who's the best at things. There's enough of that in the real world already. So I don't know. That's at least that's my philosophy on competition. Maybe my officers would disagree, but yeah. Oh, and lastly, there's ICPC Math Team, which is an event that right now is kind of on pause, given that we're not going to be able to be in person for a while. In a quick pitch for this event, it's like the highlights of Math Team from high school. So if you were involved with that and want to relive it, or if you weren't involved and want to find out what it was like, except without the less fun parts, that's ICPC Math Team. How many people in this Zoom, can you give me a thumbs up or some kind of react if this sounds like something you would attend? Okay. Cool. We're getting a few thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, so another concern I had with this event, so first of all, I really wanted to be in person. Secondly, a concern I had was that it may not quite, the audience for this event may not quite be the traditional ACM audience. And I'm not exactly sure how to market it. Hopefully we'll figure that stuff out. It's possible this will get pushed down the line, but I think it's good to know that in this Zoom, 5 out of 20 people seemed interested. So yeah, okay. Anyway, here's our team. It's huge now. This is 21 people. And all of these officers are active too, which is really a lot of work. It's kind of like a, well, it's not, I don't want to say it's like a company, but it's a pretty high effort club, and I really appreciate every one of these people for pulling their weight and several times more in many cases. So anyway, yeah, shout out to the officers. We will be accepting applications to join as an officer again in the spring. There's no recruitment in winter, but we have fall internship. These are our lovely interns, and spring joining as a regular officer, hit the ground running. It's kind of more like being never mind. Anyway, so we will be having 8 seniors retiring at the end of probably at the end of this quarter, so there'll be lots of spaces opened up. Club might shrink a little bit. That's probably healthy. So if joining as an officer sounds like something that's interesting to you, get ready for spring recruitment. I guess there'll be more details then, but we do interviews. It's hopefully not too painful a process. Yeah, okay. So with that being said, is there, let me scroll back up to the generic cover slide. Anyone have any questions about ICPC, ICPC's winter quarter offerings, or anything in that genre? Where can we find these slides? If you want to look at these slides, I can share them. I actually did not make them public, but Troy, to answer your question, I will post the slides and then put them under the link tree. So the answer is the link tree. How will beginner track work over Zoom? It will work well if past experience is any guide. We have been doing workshops on Zoom since spring of 2020, and the format will be basically the same. We might use breakout rooms a bit more, which hopefully will get people to talk to each other. It'll be the same kind of general format as before, or I guess if you haven't attended, then that's not very helpful. There's a section at the beginning where we do where we give a presentation with example problems. So like we try to make it not lecture-y. So we present a concept, and then there are problems that you get time to work on, and then we present the solutions to those problems. And then after that, there is a mini contest, which is usually open for the whole week, where you can apply what you've learned / have some fun with solving more challenging problems. And that takes up around the second half of the 2-hour workshop. There's a break in between. And over Zoom, we'll probably be trying to encourage people to talk to each other. It's not an absolute requirement. And we know that our audience is sometimes a bit more introverted than, say, average for UCLA, which is just fine. But yeah, that is how it will work over Zoom, around the same as it did before. To answer your question, Michael. For people watching on YouTube, the question was, how will beginner track work over Zoom? Okay. If there are no more questions, is there a weekly theme / curriculum for the workshop so we could pick and choose which ones to attend? That is a good question. Yes, this exists, but it's not super public. We can try to make that. We can try to either post it on the website or have the track somehow publicize this, so you know what the topics will be ahead of time. I think that'll be especially useful for beginner track. So very good idea, Alyssa. Thank you for the suggestion. We will try to do that. Troy, yes, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can be friends too. I guess introverted does not involve being friends. So yeah. All right. Anyway, if there are no more questions, I'm going to stop recording. See you all hopefully at our workshops, and have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.